This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, sitting in for Alex today. We have an amazing show lined up for you for the next 3 hours. And the reason I'm here is because Alex is on a plane headed to New York. He's going to appear on the CNN broadcast tonight. I think it's at, what, 9 Central, 8 Eastern, I think is what it is, right? Anyway, Alex is going to be there with Piers Morgan, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm here covering for Alex today, and he called me before the show with some somewhat disturbing news as well. He has been detained and nearly arrested at the Austin airport, and he's going to be uploading a video later that will explain what happened. And I'm not going to go into any details right now, but he was very angry about how he's being treated as an American citizen, just trying to, get on an airplane. In any case, that's coming up later tonight. That'll probably make the InfoWars Nightly News, but in the meantime, let's continue. We've got some great guests coming up for you today. We've got Mark Baker from bakersgreenacres.com joining us at the bottom of this hour with an update on how the state of Michigan has been forcing farmers there to shoot their own pigs. And now an economic embargo of sorts has been enacted against Mark Baker and other farmers there. It's an all-out economic warfare against American patriots, okay? So anybody who tries to grow their own food, who tries to farm, who tries to exercise any kind of freedom whatsoever, whether it's free speech, food freedom, medical freedom, health freedom, you name it, they're all being assaulted, attacked at every angle imaginable. It's on. The war is on against the American patriots, and Mark Baker will be joining us with some more details on what's going on there. Also, in the next hour, we've got John Rappaport joining us with some breaking realizations about psychiatric drugs and how now these could be used. You see, there's the government has a record of prescription drugs. Who's been prescribed all of these? It's a patient database of prescription records. And this database not only has your name in it, but also what you've been prescribed. So if you're taking antidepressant drugs, if you're taking mind-altering psychiatric drugs, if your children are taking drugs for ADHD or depression or anything, this is all being recorded by the government. And now that we've got new gun control, a new push, of course, happening in the Senate, thanks to people like Feinstein, your prescription drug records could be used to deny you your constitutional rights. All they have to do is claim that everyone who's taking antidepressant drugs is now, quote, mentally unfit to own a firearm, or to even perhaps invoke their Fifth Amendment rights or their First Amendment rights. Or basically they can just say, if you're taking these drugs, the Bill of Rights no longer applies to you. That's what they can say. So that is a very worrisome realization and a possible development in this gun control issue. And John Rappaport will be joining us to go over that. We've also got Richard Pearson popping in the next hour. He is the head of the Illinois State Rifle Association that just narrowly defeated yet another sneak attack gun control bill last night. Yeah, they're trying it at all hours now. It's like, I guess these lawmakers are staying up until 3 in the morning on a Sunday night to try to sneak a bill through that is completely unconstitutional, that would criminalize all citizens of Illinois who own firearms. It would criminalize the farmers and the ranchers and everyone in that state who legally owns firearms. But that bill was narrowly defeated last night. We'll get an update on that issue in the next hour. So stay with us here on The Alex Jones Show. All of that and much more straight ahead. We'll be right back.
You have the power. Humanity has the power. We have the power. Do you want to fight? You better believe you got one.
Rallying patriots worldwide in defense of human liberty. It's Alex Jones.
All right, we are live on this Monday, January 7th, yes, 2013. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, filling in for Alex Jones, who right now is on an airplane headed to New York to be on CNN tonight, the Piers Morgan show. Apparently, Alex is going to be there live, sitting with Mr. Morgan, Mr. Redcoat Morgan, the guy that has big successful petition calling for Morgan to be detained and kicked out of the country. That's a pretty good petition. But anyway, Alex is going to be sitting in there with him to have something that I'm sure will be a very mild conversation. And Alex, and by the way, that's going to be aired at, I think, let's see, let me get this right, 9 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Central. So I guess that makes it 6 p.m. Pacific, right? Did I get that right? I can do math today. What a wonderful Monday. Yeah, normally the math doesn't work till Tuesdays, right? Okay, so we have a lot of news coming up today. Obviously, the attack is on at every level, at every angle, on all Americans who believe in the Bill of Rights, who believe in the Second Amendment especially. And we've got a number of guests coming on today. And let me give you the rundown of what you're going to hear here for the next 3 hours. This is going to be an amazingly hard-hitting show. At the bottom of this hour, we've got Mark Baker coming on from Baker's Green Acres talking about the state of Michigan and how they are now putting in kind of economic embargo on small farmers who are trying to have a small family farm raising heirloom pigs, basically, and are being shut down by the state of Michigan. I know we've covered that issue before, but we have new information, new updates, and a worsening of the situation. So Mark will be here to give us that breakdown. Then the next hour, we've got John Rappaport from NoMoreFakeNews.com joining us to give us more details on some additional breaking realizations that we had about the psychiatric patient prescription drug list. Look, the government is running a surveillance database on all the drugs that you are prescribed and purchased from pharmacies. That database could be turned into a no gun buy database. They could just say, they could invoke this by executive order, as has been admitted. The Washington Post over the weekend ran a story saying Obama was looking at executive order to just mandate new gun restrictions. And one of those, this wasn't in the Washington Post article, but this is in our article at Natural News, and it's posted on Infowars.com this morning, shows that drug database could be copied and pasted into the no gun buy database, which essentially is the FBI instant background check system, NICS, to deny people the right to buy firearms who have been on antidepressants. So that's coming up. That's a very big, important discussion, because it means that if you are taking psychiatric drugs, which includes antidepressants and other classes of prescribed pharmaceuticals, you could be denied your constitutional rights. Outside of law, just with a regulation, this would not even require senators or members of the House to vote for any new law. It wouldn't require anything at all. Just one stroke of the pen, or one stroke of the robotic pen from Obama, who doesn't even sign his own laws anymore, just has a robot do it. Hey, why not? Yeah, he's a puppet anyway. Just have a puppet sign it. Grab a puppet with a pen and sign the laws that way. All right, here's some other news. We've got welfare recipients. This is out of the New York Post. Welfare recipients take out cash at strip clubs, liquor stores, and X-rated shops. This was an exclusive story that broke on the New York Post over the weekend. And it turns out that if you track where these recipients are taking out their cash, they're taking out all their, with their EBT cards, their government paid welfare cards. They're taking it out at porn shops, hookah parlors. I never heard that term before. A hookah parlor. And even strip clubs. Man, I must be out of the loop on that whole realm, because I've never even heard of a hookah parlor. Anyway, I have heard of strip clubs, so that's where they're taking out their money and using it. So this is your money, folks. This is your taxpayer money when you go to work and you pay taxes, or they take it out, actually, to sort of confiscate taxes from you, and they're confiscating more now than ever before, thanks to the fiscal cliff negotiations. That money goes to these Obama-supporting EBT card owners who are using your money to get it on at X-rated porn shops and strip clubs. Oh, man, how insane has it become when our tax dollars go to fund the compassionate welfare of people who use your money to hire strippers and buy porn? Yeah, that's called welfare in the new United States of America. Enough on that. Let's move on. Large cities all over America are degenerating into gang-infested war zones. This is by Michael Snyder at Economic Collapse, and it's posted on Infowars.com as well. And in this article, he looks at the large cities and how they're breaking down into total criminal gang-infested chaos. And there was a story posted on Drudge over the weekend where a woman in Detroit called 911, reported that her car had been stolen and a firearm inside the car had obviously been stolen with the car. And the police, or 911, told her, call back later. Call back later. Yeah. Welcome to the suicide hotline. Please hold. It's like, forget about police in Detroit now. Didn't the police of Detroit even announce a few weeks ago for people not to even enter the city? Because if you dial 911, we can't help you. We can't even help you. You know, this reminds me of the movie RoboCop. Remember that? The original RoboCop movie from the 1980s? You got to go back and watch RoboCop because that was based in Detroit. And in the movie, the city of Detroit had degenerated into a total corporate gang crime zone where the corporations were running the drugs. Guess what's happened today? Exactly like that. The commercials in that movie, RoboCop, were so ridiculous then, they seemed outlandish, and today they are true. That movie was, it really foreshadowed the future. And this is happening in cities all across the country: East St. Louis, Detroit, L.A., East L.A., you name it. It is all degenerating but look, you can't blame the police on this, because the men and women in blue who are out there trying to do their jobs, and I know this because I've worked with these cops firsthand. They are trying to do their jobs. They are ridiculously underfunded. They are not given even enough money to buy the ammo that they need to police their local cities. They're denied their own gear in many cases. When I was working with the police in Arizona, we were raising money so they could buy their own bulletproof vests, because the PD there didn't even give them bulletproof vests. Imagine being a cop and having to buy your own vest. It's ridiculous. But this is true. So as a result of the cuts, as a result of the insanity, the cops are being downsized everywhere. And, of course, the gangs are running completely out of control. Now, here's another great article that I saw over the weekend from WorldNet Daily by the managing editor of WorldNet Daily, David Kupelian. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Kupelian. This is a great story: the giant gaping hole in Sandy Hook reporting. And in the story that's up at worldnetdaily.com, WND, he covers the mainstream media, their refusal to cover the psychiatric drugs and their links to violent shooting and suicides. And he runs down what we've been reporting on for years at Natural News, which is the link between psych drugs and violent shootings. If you go back to Columbine, those kids that shot up their classmates and shot up their school, they were taking antidepressant drugs. If you run down the whole list, most school shootings and most violent outbursts, even in the military violence that's happened, you know, what was the shooting at Fort Hood? That guy was under psychiatric care. All of these people are under psychiatric care. You look at Aurora, Colorado. You look at Sandy Hook in Connecticut, the recent situation. That guy was on psychiatric drugs. It is the link that the media refuses to report. They want to focus on, oh, the guns are bad. They don't want to tell you that the guy left his AR-15 rifle in the car. He didn't even bring it into the school. They don't want to tell you that he was on psych drugs. They don't want to tell you that all these people are Satan worshipers, that they're all these goth-like characters who literally love the devil, love Satan, or think they do. They probably never even, they don't even know what they're really dealing with, but they think they love Satan, and so they engage in this kind of behavior.